What is the purpose of your life at this time?
I'm here to help light leaders. I help light leaders birth their products, their programs. I help them write their books. I'm like a doula. I feel like I'm like a purpose doula, right? Like I just help bring them to earth. And the way my gifts work resonates with other people. But there are other people who do what I do where their gifts would work with a whole other set of people. So I just feel like our gifts, they translate for the language for the people who need our work, who need our support, who need our help. And you can be even like, your gift is baking. And every person who gets your baking goods feels joy and happiness. And that's a part of your purpose, is bringing them joy and happiness. Everyone shows up so differently, but it is such an important part of why I believe we're here, which is to really use our gifts to bring more light.
Do we have many purposes? And how do we know when we have that purpose that you speak of, that is to bring joy and the connection with the divine to others?
So one thing I notice when I work with clients is usually their purpose is covered with a bunch of lies. So if they haven't been able to find their purpose, if we were to actually search for the lies that come to their minds, like someone, for example, one of my clients, she was like, I'm horrible at speaking. I don't like to speak. I don't want to speak. And hearing those things come from her mouth, I was able to say, actually, these most definitely are covering one of your gifts. So as we did healing work and we cleaned some stuff off, certainly that's actually one of her gifts. She's an extraordinary speaker. And when she speaks, it transforms people's way of being. So if you can't find your purpose, the easiest way is to find, well, what are those, what is the bag of manure or bologna and cheese? That's what I tell my kids. What's the bologna and cheese? So what are the lies that are being fed to you, and they're actually covering your gifts? The opposite will be where your gifts live.
So you wrote the book, Rise Up and Awaken to the Joy of Being Human. What was the inspiration and purpose of writing this book?
For about 1.5 years, I'd heard this nudge that I needed to write a book called Rise Up and Awaken. And I just kept putting it off. There were so many things happening. And then this summer we actually had COVID. My whole family was very sick. And I was laying on my son's bed and holding his hand, and we were just kind of sleeping in the middle of the day. So it was a really weird time. I'm not a big sleeper during the day. So like it was a weird time for my body to be asleep. And I had this vision, and it was a vision of me going to the other side. And when I got there, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And the only thing I saw and heard was, I missed it. I missed the whole ride. I went to Earth to have joy, and then I freaking missed it. I got stuck in these potholes of suffering, and I had this full experience in this vision. And when I woke up, I knew it needed to become a book. And so I sat down, and it ended up becoming a guide where there's 8 chapters of guiding through how to let go of suffering and feel more joy. And then there are 30 days of morning and evening journal and mantra sections that really help rewire the brain to seek for joy and to delete the suffering.
Talk to me about self-love.
Self-love. I think this is actually one of the hardest things for me, because it's very easy as a mother and as a woman to take care of everyone else. And what happens is depletion happens. And when we become depleted, it's very hard to feel joy. It's very hard to be a creator in the energy of depletion. And so nurturing and loving ourselves is how we actually get to expand into a more joyful way of being, which means that then we show up better for our children, for our spouses, for the people we serve. Nurturing is so key in my life to keeping myself in a higher vibration so I can really show up and not feel depleted.
Do you connect self-care to self-love? Are they the same thing?
Self-care for me is listening to my body. If I'm feeling really tired, like really honoring that and letting myself sit in a meditation or take a rest or sit outside with the trees, honoring what my body is asking is self-care to me. Self-love is a deeper work. And to me, that is truly honoring and loving myself with all of my flaws, which is really hard to do because I want to show up in my highest self all the time, but I'm so human and I have so many faults. And so to love them, to me, is self-love.
Yeah, I love in the book you have this section called Let's Wake Up Some Joy Today. Lovely written. Is gratitude something that leads to joy or the other way around?
I actually use gratitude to lead me to joy. I believe that gratitude is... Did you ever play that game Chutes and Ladders when you were a kid?
I don't know what that is. I was born in Brazil.
But it gives the best visual. And on Chutes and Ladders, you take your little guy and you move him up along the path. And every now and then there's a ladder. And you get to zip up and you get to move to the next layer and you skip like 25 spots, right? So it's like the fastest way to winning. But I see that energetically is what happens to us when we have gratitude. If we can allow ourselves to feel grateful, even for the smallest thing. So even if you're in the deepest place of pain and suffering, but in that moment, you can snuggle into your blankets and feel grateful for the softness of the blankets. It zips you up like that slide does. It pulls you right up into a higher space of vibration. And it's there, the higher vibration frequencies, that allows you to feel joy. And so that's why I use gratitude to pull me out of those moments of darkness so that I can exist in the realm of joy more.